It wasn't just another tennis match, it was a statement. Novak Djokovic walked onto the court with one goal: revenge. Carlos Alcaraz had taken Wimbledon from him, taken the spotlight, taken the narrative. But now, the veteran wasn't here to smile or shake hands. He was here to remind everyone that legends don't fade quietly. They strike back. And this time, Djokovic came prepared. To understand why this match mattered so much, we have to go back. In 2023, Carlos Alcaraz shocked the world when he beat Djokovic in the Wimbledon final, a 5-set thriller that symbolized the shift between generations. For Djokovic, it stung. He had dominated every surface, every era, every challenger. But this young Spaniard, he was different. Fast, fearless, and unafraid of the moment. Over the next year, the rivalry grew. Djokovic responded the only way he knows, by working harder than anyone else. In 2024, he finally captured the Olympic gold, beating Alcaraz along the way. It was his way of saying, "I'm not done yet." By 2025, tennis had split into two camps: those who believed Alcaraz was the future and those who refused to count out the greatest of all time. When the new season brought another Djokovic-Alcaraz clash, the hype was unreal. People didn't see it as a match, they saw it as a battle for the sport's soul. Everyone talks about age. Novak Djokovic is 38 now, and for most athletes, that number means decline. But he's not like most athletes. His fitness regime, his flexibility routines, his diet, everything is engineered for longevity. At 38, he still slides across hard courts like it's 2011. Alcaraz, on the other hand, is pure youth in motion. Explosive speed, heavy forehand, relentless energy. In 2025, he's at his physical peak, 22 years old, and confident enough to grind through 5-set battles without blinking. But that difference cuts both ways. Djokovic knows how to conserve energy. He shortens points when he needs to, forces errors, dictates tempo. Alcaraz sometimes burns too hot. He wants every rally, every shot to be spectacular. In their latest encounter, this contrast defined the early sets. Djokovic absorbed pressure, redirected pace, and made Alcaraz run side to side. The Spaniard hit harder, but Novak hit smarter. And when the rallies passed the 20-ball mark, it was Djokovic, not Alcaraz, who looked fresher. It's one of those hidden truths in tennis. Stamina isn't just about lungs, it's about control. Djokovic proved once again that discipline beats chaos. If physical endurance was the base, tactics were the weapon. Djokovic didn't try to out-hit Alcaraz, he outthought him. He returned deep, forcing Carlos into awkward positions. Every drop shot from the Spaniard was met with a quick read and a calm pass down the line. He used variety flat backhands, sudden serve and volley plays, and that trademark backhand cross-court that pins opponents in a corner. It wasn't flashy, but it was surgical. Alcaraz's greatest strength, unpredictability, became his weakness. Every time he changed pace or tried to improvise, Djokovic already stood in the right place. You could feel the frustration building on Alcaraz's side. He'd hit an incredible forehand winner one point, then dump an easy shot into the net the next. Meanwhile, Djokovic stayed cold, clinical, almost robotic in his precision. By the middle of the match, the stats said it all. Novak had won over 70% of points, lasting more than 9 shots. The veteran was reading the future like a chess grandmaster, and Alcaraz couldn't find a new pattern. At that moment, it wasn't youth versus experience. It was chaos versus control, and control was winning. But what separated them most wasn't tactics, it was mindset. Djokovic has spent 2 decades turning pressure into fuel. He's been booed, cheered, doubted, and celebrated often, all in the same match. Nothing rattles him anymore. For Alcaraz, pressure still stings. He's emotional, expressive, alive on-court traits that make him exciting but sometimes vulnerable. In the revenge match, when Djokovic saved breakpoints with back-to-back aces, the entire dynamic flipped. You could see it. Alcaraz's shoulders dropped. His eyes flicked to his box. Djokovic stared straight ahead. After the changeover, Novak's expression didn't change. He's been here before. He knows the pain of defeat, and he knows exactly how to weaponize it. For him, revenge isn't anger. It's patience. It's waiting for the moment your opponent cracks, then closing the door without hesitation. That's exactly what happened in the final set. Alcaraz missed a simple forehand, Djokovic broke serve, and suddenly the veteran was roaring again. It wasn't the loud celebration of a man proving something to others. It was quiet satisfaction proof to himself that the fire still burns. This was the mental war Alcaraz couldn't win. Djokovic had been chasing ghosts. Now he was the ghost haunting the next generation. After the match, analysts didn't hesitate to call it vintage Novak. John McEnroe said, "This was Djokovic at his most dangerous, efficient, ruthless, emotion under control. He doesn't need to out-hit these guys. He just needs to outthink them." Andy Roddick, never one to sugarcoat, added, "Carlos will learn from this, but Novak just gave everyone a reminder the king is still alive." Even Roger Federer, watching from the stands, reportedly told a reporter afterward, "Carlos has all the talent in the world, but Novak still plays with that unbelievable discipline. You can't teach that." And Alcaraz himself? He smiled in defeat and said, "He played like he always does in big moments perfect." It was honest, it was respectful, and it showed that the rivalry between them is real, but built on admiration. Because in tennis, the greatest duels are not about hate, they're about two players forcing each other to the limit. In the end, Novak Djokovic got what he came for: revenge, respect, and another reminder to the world that greatness doesn't retire quietly. Alcaraz lost the match, but not the war. The gap between them remains razor thin, and the next chapter is already on the horizon. Because if tennis has taught us anything, it's this: every time you think Djokovic is finished, he finds another mountain to climb. And every time Alcaraz falls, he comes back stronger. The rivalry isn't over, it's just getting started. Stay tuned, because the next time these two meet, it won't just be about revenge, it'll be about legacy. After the match, the atmosphere inside the arena felt different. There wasn't chaos, there was silence, the kind of silence that follows history. Djokovic didn't fall to his knees or scream to the crowd. He just closed his eyes for a moment, breathed, and smiled. It wasn't joy, it was peace. He had been chasing that feeling since Wimbledon 2023. The loss that everyone called the beginning of the end had haunted him. But this victory, it erased every doubt. It wasn't about revenge anymore. It was about balance, about proving to himself that his love for the game still burns as strong as ever. When asked in the post-match interview if this was his sweetest win, Djokovic laughed quietly and said, "Every match against Carlos feels like a final. He makes me better. That's the beauty of rivalries." That one sentence told everything you needed to know. Alcaraz, for his part, showed incredible maturity. He walked over, smiled, and said, "I'll see you next time. No excuses, no frustration, just respect." That's what defines great champions. The cameras captured something symbolic. The handshake lasted longer than usual. 2 generations, one still climbing, one refusing to step down. The moment looked like a passing of the torch, but Novak's eyes said something else. Not yet. In the locker room later, his team shared stories, laughed, and celebrated quietly. No champagne, no wild parties, just relief. For Novak, it wasn't about headlines. It was about pride. About knowing that after decades on tour, he could still dig deep and deliver perfection when it mattered most. Outside, reporters called it the revenge of the king. Fans filled comment sections with words like GOAT energy, unstoppable, and masterclass. Even younger players admitted they learned something watching him that night. Because what Djokovic showed wasn't just skill. It was longevity. It was hunger. It was proof that greatness isn't measured by age, but by the refusal to stop evolving. And as the lights went out in the stadium, one thought echoed in every fan's mind: if this is what revenge looks like, what will happen the next time these two meet? The rivalry is far from over. In fact, it might just be entering its most fascinating chapter yet.